Hi everyone, Christina here. Welcome to another video at my YouTube channel and blog. Today I'm going to be using a few new products from the latest Simon Says Stamp release. In fact, as this video is going up, this release just went up on their website. So this is brand new stuff, and I'm eager to show you a really fun, easy vellum shaker card. So I'm going to be using the Leafy Frame die. This is a really fun die. Simon has a stencil that's similar to this. It's the same design. This one is sized perfectly for an A2 card, and I'm going to cut it out of some Neenah Solar White cardstock. This is the 80-pound version of the cardstock, and I've just run that through my die cutting machine. And I did run it through a couple times because this is a really large die and it's pretty intricate. So I ran it through a couple times, and I also used a metal adapter shim just to get a little more pressure. And that worked out really well to get this cut out completely. So now I'm using some Nouveau glue adhesive, and I'm just putting little dabs of that on all the leaves and around the frame. And then I'm going to be adhering it onto a piece of vellum cardstock. So my vellum, I was using a scrap piece of vellum that was already cut to this card size, but I really think if you're going to do this, it might be better to have it slightly larger and then use some scissors or an X-Acto knife to trim off the excess after you have this adhered. Just makes it a little bit easier to get it glued down. You don't have to worry about lining up the edges. So I pressed down all of those leaves so they're nice and adhered to the vellum, and then I put some acrylic blocks on top. Now I'm going to use this Hawaiian Sunset sequins mix from Simon. This is also a brand new sequin mix that's included in the latest release. And I'm going to work on the background that's going to go behind my sequins in my shaker card. So I'm using 3 different colors of Distress Oxide ink, and I'm going to blend them onto this Neenah Solar White cardstock. The colors I'm using are Ripe Persimmon, Picked Raspberry, and Wilted Violet. These colors were definitely inspired by the sequins mix. There really isn't like a pink color in the sequins mix, but I wanted a nice transition color between this orange and purple, because sometimes orange and purple, when they're blended into each other, can kind of create like a grayish mud color. It needs a little bit of a transition color, and since pink really blends well to purple and pink also blends well to orange, that's a really good transition shade to put in between these two colors so that they blend really nicely. So I just used a Tonic Easy Clean Matte, which has alcohol ink stained on it. I use that to protect my work surface and then blend it on with some mini blending tools. So now I've got my vellum and die cut piece in my MISTI stamp positioning tool, and I'm going to use the Uplifting Sentiment stamp set. This greeting right here that says "I'm so grateful for you" fits perfectly inside that center area of this entire piece. So I've prepped the vellum with an anti-static powder tool. That was what that tool was. I just put on a little bit of powder, and then I placed the stamp, put it onto the door of my MISTI, and then applied some Versamark ink on top of that. So Versamark ink is a really sticky ink. It's going to be perfect for heat embossing. So I'm using some heat embossing powder. This is the color Alabaster from Brutus Monroe, and it's a really great white shade. It's nice and opaque, and I'll just hit that with my heat tool until it's completely smooth and melted. When you're heating up embossing powder on vellum, it's always a good idea to heat the back a little bit just so it prevents warping as well. So now I'm taking some really thin foam adhesive strips from Darice. They're just the right thickness to go around this outside border. And I'm only going to do 1 layer of foam adhesive because these sequins, they're not going to be like shaking around a ton. I just want them to be really subtle in the background. The vellum makes it look a little bit subtle since it conceals them just a little bit, but it also allows you to see the sequins, which is kind of fun. So I removed all of the release paper off the back and then dumped in some of the sequins mix. Still have quite a bit left. I probably could make another card exactly like this with the remaining sequins. Then took my blended piece and I pressed that right down onto the back of that shaker area. After I have it down, I'm going to run my finger around the outer edge, making sure that that foam adhesive has met all of the surface around the the blended piece. And that's basically the shaker area completely put together. The last thing I'm going to do is adhere it to a card base. So I've scored some Neenah Classic Crest Silver White cardstock. This is the 110-pound version. Scored that at 5.5, applied some Tombow Extreme adhesive, and then I held both of these pieces up with my hands and then pressed them together. And that makes it so I get a really good position or have it lined up perfectly to adhere. So you can see how fun those sequins are behind the vellum. I think it's a really fun, it gives it almost a dreamlike look. It's really, really an interesting look. And I love shaker cards. I think shaker cards have been around for years and years. And well, they were around a long time ago. Now they're coming back, but they're kind of sticking around. I really like them. So thanks so much for watching today. You can get all of these products over at simonsystamp.com, the new stamp, the die, and also the sequins, and I hope you'll check those out. On screen, I've got a couple more videos for you to check out if you'd like. I've just got some other shaker card ideas, so I hope you'll check those out, and thank you so much for watching today. I will catch you guys in another video very soon.